Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. I'm here today to go over my February TBR with y'all. I am officially doing TBR videos again in 2025 and am here to go ahead and pick out my February books, or at least a couple of them, with y'all in real time because it is time to make some choices and to pull some books out of my TBR box that I have made that has all of my unread physical books within it. I'm not going to pick out every single book for my February TBR from this box. I will probably end up picking between 3 and 5 books depending on how long they are to read, and then I also have 4 other books that I'll talk about after I draw my randomized books. But my goal this year, of course, like I talked about in my 2025 goals video, which I'll tag above if you haven't watched it, is to really focus on my physical TBR and all the books that I have on my shelves that are unread. So far, January is going very, very well for that. I've very much been able to focus on my physical books so far and have read most of what I put on my January TBR, which is great. And you'll see that officially in my January wrap-up that comes out in a couple days or a week or something from when this video goes up. But my goal is to just keep going strong and doing so, and not just to limit myself to my TBR that I'm drawing out of this box, but also giving myself some freedom to mood read and read what I want to read versus just trying to focus on my bookshelves and what I have on there. So I do have, of course, NetGalley books, Kindle Unlimited books, library books that I'm also reading every month, but those aren't necessarily on my TBRs at the time that I'm making these videos. So you'll see all the extra books that I read every month in my wrap-up videos, so keep an eye out for those. But we're gonna go ahead and draw out a couple of books from my box to read in the month of February. Before I do so, if you enjoy watching TBR videos or other bookish videos, please feel free to subscribe to my channel down below. I so appreciate y'all's support and cannot wait to see what this year brings. But without further ado, let's go ahead and shake up my box a little bit, get all the papers mixed up, and we're gonna go ahead and draw our first pick. All right, y'all, I'm a little bit nervous. I was very nervous for this in January, and I ended up drawing 3 books in January just because one of them was a pretty long book that I haven't finished yet while I'm filming this, but I should be able to finish by the end of the month. So depending on the length of the books, I might draw 3 books, I might draw 5 books. We'll see what ends up happening. Let's go ahead and, oh no, this one fell out. It's not gonna count. I'm not counting that one. Let's go ahead and draw. First up, we have, I'm a little bit scared, not gonna lie. Ooh, okay, I'm actually very excited about this one. We will be reading Blame It on the Champagne by Fiona Cole. This is one of my bestie Stasia's favorite books. I don't think this is gonna focus, even though I try to focus it. Nope, it's not gonna work, I don't think. Okay, I think it's kind of maybe focusing. Anyway, Blame It on the Champagne by Fiona Cole. Very excited about this one. Let me go grab it. I actually got to meet Fiona Cole in summer 2024, and she signed my book, and I got to talk to her for a little bit, and it was awesome. I have no idea what this book is about, but I have read from Fiona Cole in the past and have really enjoyed most of her stuff that I've read, and Stasia read this book a couple years ago and loved it, so I'm very glad that I ended up drawing this one out. I probably will tab it and see what happens, but I read Voyeur by the author years ago and really enjoyed it, so I'm excited to dive into this one and see what her other books are like. All I know about this one is that it's a romance, which is pretty much nothing. I don't know anything about this book, so it's okay. It'll be a good time, I think. Pick number 2 is happening. Pick number 2. First book, good. So we'll see what book number 2 brings. Okay. So, this is a huge book, and it's technically 2 books in one, so I'll probably just go ahead and once again draw out one more after this. But this paper says Wildest Dreams by Gianna Darling, which is the copy that I have is a special edition. I was trying to see if I could focus. Nope. Okay. I was hoping it would focus on my thing. But Wildest Dreams. This is a duet. I actually have it from Eternal Embers, which is right here. And I guess I will officially be reading this one in February. This book is huge. This copy is over 700 pages, but the font is really big, so that's great. Will I end up reading this edition? I'm not quite sure. I might end up getting the Kindle Unlimited copies if they're on KU and reading them on my Kindle, because I don't really want to bend the spine of this very pretty special edition, but I do have so many special editions on my shelves that I haven't read, and it is good to get to one of these. But Wildest Dreams is a bind up, I think, of the Dark Dreams duet. So there should be 2 books. The first one is Dangerous Temptation, and the second one is Beautiful Nightmare. So hopefully this one goes well. I don't think I've read anything by Gianna Darling, but the author is very well loved in the romance community, so I'm excited to try her out. Very much of a chunk of a book, which is kind of unfortunate, but we're gonna make it work. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna be another book that I end up reading from my physical TBR. So because of that being a pretty thick book, we'll just go ahead and draw one more book for the month of February. Since technically that one is also 2 books, this will give me a little bit more freedom also to keep reading what I want to read and not just be limited to drawing out books from this box. So, a little bit nervous about what this one says. Okay. Another fantasy in the month of February. For those of y'all who don't know, I don't read a ton of fantasy, but I sometimes get in the mood for it. And my final book for February that I'm drawing out of my box is Unholy Terror by Lyndall Clipstone. Oh gosh, that did not help. It's also still not gonna focus, and that's really frustrating to me, even though I'm doing what the internet said to do to make it focus. But Unholy Terrors by Lyndall Clipstone. I have read 2 of this author's other books. One I loved, one I did not, but I'm hesitantly excited for this one also. This one is a gothic fantasy. I do love that Lyndall Clipstone writes dark gothic fantasies with like some romance intertwined, because that's the type of fantasy that I want to read when I do pick up the genre. So we'll see how this one goes. I think it kind of toes the line between new adult and young adult, and I also have no idea what it's about. The top right here says it's a sin to feed a monster, let alone love one. So we'll see how this one goes, but the cover is stunning, and I'm very curious to see how gothic this is and what it's all about, and get to it in the month of February. This is kind of a thicker book also, but because it does kind of trend onto more of like a YA spectrum, I think hopefully it will be kind of a quick read and I can get through it in a very timely manner, especially because February of course is a shorter month, and we'll kind of start leading into the busyness of my thesis work. So we'll see what happens, but these are the 3 books that I drew for the month of February from my TBR box to read and cross off my unread list, which is very exciting. But I do have 4 other books that I would like to read in the month of February, and we'll go over those super quickly. First up, I need to read In the Weeds by B.K. Borison. This is the February Mending Hearts book club pick, which is the romance book club that Stasia and I co-host. I was supposed to mention the first 2 books that we read in January in my January TBR video, and I definitely didn't do that, but I do co-host a romance book club, and I will be reading the monthly picks every month, of course. And our February pick is this one. I have no idea really what it's about, except that it's about a social media manager and a grumpy farmer. So it should be a fun time, and it's set in a small town. I've heard very good things about this author though, and I'm excited to check them out for the first time. February is going to be the month of romance for me largely. So I have also got Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood that I would like to read, and Butcher and Blackbird by Brynne Weaver, both of which are very popular books written by very popular authors. I've read almost all of Ali Hazelwood's books and really need to read this one before her new books for 2025 come out. And Butcher and Blackbird has just been on my TBR for a long time, and everyone's talking about it, and I really would like to get to it. This is a dark romantic comedy that is supposed to be very funny and very spicy and very thrilling as well, I think. But I plan to read these 2 books for a reading vlog for February, so keep an eye out for that if you want to see my thoughts on these 2 books. And then finally, one of my goals for at least the first half of 2025 is to read one sort of research true crime book for my thesis. So in the month of February, I hope to read American Predator: The Hunt for the Most Meticulous Serial Killer of the 21st Century. My creative fiction thesis is very much geared toward true crime and navigating the minds of people who play roles in things like this, and so I am trying to do research to kind of be able to get into the heads of people and be able to draw inspiration from my own creative fictional works. So this is a goal of mine, and hopefully I end up getting to it. So those are all the books that I officially have on my February TBR as of this exact moment. This will hopefully give me the space to kind of mood read a little bit. If not, I will be focusing only on these books amidst the chaos of school and work, and hopefully I will be able to get to all of them. If you've read any of these books or would like to read any of these books, feel free to comment down below and let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts on them. Also, if you would like to join a romance book club in the new year, Mending Hearts is reading in the weeds, and we'd love to have you join us. I'll have our Instagram and Discord linked in the description down below. That is all that I have for today's video. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.